porcini. Is it chini? I can't remember the word now. I said it last week. Something with a CH. It's a Malayalam word or something for the word dapata. And it's like, okay, what does this word mean? It means dapata. Well, I gave you another Indian word. It's a scarf. Sort of like a shawl. It's a kind of bigger than ours, though. They're bigger than ours. It's a particular one that they use in India, that women use. And sometimes they put it over their heads in the temple, in Andrew. Back to the news. Last year, this is a review of last year. Ukraine took 1,000 kilometers of Russia. And this was in the Kursk area. And I remember when it happened. Over the summer, Russia took it all back. They took all of it back, and then they actually took some of the border area too, so that they wouldn't do it again. Sort of. Putin said, "Okay, we need to have like a zone here so that they can't try this again." So they took the Kursk back. There's a lot of dead bodies. It's kind of sad. Some of them are still there in the border areas and stuff. But the Ukrainians committed war crimes in there. They were shooting civilians, and they were doing stuff that would go against the Convention of War that was done in Geneva. And it's like, nobody wants to talk about it. German tanks in Russia, German-made tanks, and Germans, I guess, were in them, right? And there were American weapons in there too, American tanks, American weaponry. So, in a sense, we invaded Russia, and I think that there were American men, but what they did. I guess it's technically illegal, maybe even to join a foreign army, but they made some kind of a way to do it so that they wouldn't get in trouble. And they joined and they went in there, because you got to have somebody that's experienced. You can't just send any Joe into Russia. And some of them stayed behind the lines. Got behind the lines over the summer, and I guess they had to rout them out. Even after Kursk was taken back, some of them were like lost behind the lines, and they were doing stuff back there that one of them, I don't know if they worked in pairs, but they blew up a railroad bridge. And they did some damage. They were able to kind of hike in, and it caught them. But they did their damage first. But Russia threw them out, and in one case they went through a tunnel, and they came up. There was a pipeline, and this was in Kursk. And they did this a few times. They did this like 3 times. They went down a pipeline, and the pipeline was like 5 miles long or something, and it's like they came out in an area that Ukraine thought was impenetrable, because Ukraine has a pretty good army. They have good equipment that we're giving them, and they're good at fighting. They're not an easy knockoff to fight. This is both sides are pretty good fighters. They're vicious. It's like having 2 lions go after each other. And all of a sudden they showed up in 5 or 10 miles inland from the front, in areas that Ukraine thought, oh, this is safe here because Russia can't get back here. All of a sudden you got men all over the place shooting at you. And that's how they got Kursk back. They snuck in. That's what we're fighting over there. And they did this more than once. They did it 3 times. They did it in 2 other areas on the front. But they went down a pipeline, an oil pipeline. I mean, how nasty would that be? And yes, it was not good for your health either. Those men will probably all be, they're probably not good for their health to do that. But they did it, and they came out and they surprised the hell out of Ukraine. I mean, it's like they pulled the rug right out from under them there. It was a disaster for Ukraine in all 3 of these cases. One of them was in a city, and it was on the it was on the eastern front, by the Donbass. And they did that, and it's like all of a sudden they appeared way inland to get through some kind of a tunnel or something like that. In Kursk, it was an oil pipeline. These other 2, I don't know what they were. They were some kind of tunnel or something. I know there was an area that had a mine, and they had to take over. They had to fight underground. But it's a vicious war. And Russia is fighting not because they want to take over land. They're fighting for their survival. Because if they let Ukraine stay like it is, they're always going to have this thorn in their side, right on their doorstep. And it's like, there are warships in the Caribbean, Russian warships in the Caribbean, and there's just a few. And it's like, America don't like that, having, Russian warships in the Caribbean and over by Venezuela and stuff like that. I mean, Venezuela is probably asking Russia for help, but they're in the area. Probably down by Cuba even, or something like that. And it's like, yeah, America doesn't like that, but Russia doesn't like us being in Ukraine after we agreed not to be in Ukraine. The agreement was that Russia's going to give all of Eastern Europe, this great big huge area, back, which they occupied for like, I don't know, 60 or 70 years. Give all this back. You can have all this stuff back, all these countries back, the whole Eastern Bloc. And they says, you got to agree to stay the hell out of the rest of what we're keeping, which is Ukraine. Ukraine, Belarus, all those areas. They even let the Baltics go. And we broke that agreement. It's like nobody's paying any attention to what's going on. We broke an agreement, and then we went in there with the CIA and manipulated elections, and we burned buildings down with Russians in them. We were behind the government doing that. The problem with Ukraine is the Donbass is 90% Russian. That area was given to Ukraine by, I believe it was Stalin, but it was given to Ukraine early on under the USSR. And that area still was all Russian though. And then when Ukraine broke away, Russia let them have a government. And then they says, okay, you people all have to become Ukrainian now. You have to quit using the Russian language. It was 90% Russian. He says, you got to join the Ukrainian church. You got to start speaking Ukrainian, even though they all spoke Russian. And they were losing their rights. They didn't have their rights, and that's what started this whole thing. And they burned. They herded a bunch of them into a big building,